Welcome. Thank you for watching this and listening. And in this video from my cave, where I sometimes sip tea, I have a very small office and it's packed with equipment to help with my day job, to help with all of my side projects and all of my hustles. Because building things, creating, and figuring out ways to help people and help my family, those are things that I do, and it packs this office. So maybe sometime you'll see my very small cave, as I call it. And I'd like to introduce you to a concept that might sort of expand your mind today and get you to think in a way that's completely different than you've ever thought before, because that's what it took for me to overcome a lot of hurdles in my life. And I want to ask you a question. Have you dealt with fear? And maybe if you don't know if you've dealt with fear, maybe you've dealt with delaying. Have you put things off? Procrastination, delaying, making sort of excuses, and just taking what we know we should do and putting it down the line. And every day we see something and put it down the line in our mind. And there are endless ways and tools out there to help you get things done today. So I'm not going to talk about those, even though I recommend having a note card or a piece of paper that you write something down and shove in your pocket. And every day you have it in your pocket. It's got the list of things you do. So if you need that information and that tip, that is worth the video. This is free. You should like it. If you thought that was a good idea, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Ridiculous, but it's so simple and easy. All right, so let's talk about your delaying and fear and how they go together. So delaying or procrastination is simply fear. It's delaying what you know you should do. That's really just a red flag indicator that that thing that you know you should do, you don't really think it's going to work. So if you keep putting off something, whether it's true or not, you don't think it's going to work. So maybe it will work. So if you keep putting something off, and that's a sign that you fear it. So let me give you an example of learning a new concept like algorithms for me. And I've got like books on how to do this. This one here. Hopefully it's reading the correct way. Thank you to my commenter for telling me I need to figure out how to unmirror my camera or something. There we go. Hopefully I read correctly. But I have tons of books on that. But let me talk about algorithms as a concept and my fear of it. So it's something that I always heard about. This is, a long time ago by now, but I always heard about it. It seemed too complicated, and it seemed like something I didn't ever need to know as a developer. And the truth is, kind of don't need to know that. If you're going to be like me, switching from other careers into a tech career, I work for a great company. It's international, and I've worked for a lot of companies, but I've never really needed to know about algorithms until I got to the point in my career where I was like, okay, now I need to know, but I still didn't want to. I kept putting it off. I was in a bookstore then. I think it was in Colorado with my kids, or Indianapolis with some of my kids. I forget. But I was down in some basement bookstore, and I saw this book, and it was $16, and I bought it. And I thought, I've always wanted to know about this. So I bought it, and it was a $16 entry point into what's an algorithm. There's no code in here. It's just all concepts. And that's great because it applies to any language. And I realized at that moment that I had to take some sort of small action into that thing that I feared. And I had to do it in a way that had some sort of investment on my part. So for me, if I had seen a little page on algorithms and it was free, I don't know if I would have taken it. Like if there was a cheat sheet to algorithms, I don't know if I would have taken it. And the reason for that is because in my brain, algorithms seem too hard to understand. And a free thing wasn't worth the time because I don't have time for that. But it's weird. When I saw this little book, it's not a huge book. It doesn't seem crazy. And I leafed through it and I saw, I can kind of read this. There was that little thing that said, I know this can give me the answers I need. And I know that if I buy it, I'll read it, because I do. You can't put physical books aside. Like, you can just close your laptop or swipe or shut down your phone. It's always there in front of me. A physical book is, and I recommend you take that advice with physical books. Very helpful. But when I knew, okay, for $16, I can get a great introduction, I thought, this is an easy point of entry for me. And it was, and it has been. And there are still concepts in here I can't understand. Very, very hard for me to understand. But I then had a little bit of confidence when I bought the book. Now, I took it home wherever we were. I think maybe we were in South Dakota. And so we were at an Airbnb, I think. And started reading this right away. I'm like, this is kind of exciting. And I was like, whoa, algorithms aren't that hard to understand. The concepts aren't that hard. Some of them aren't, the ones I was first reading of. And then in my brain, something happened. It was like the thing that I feared, I had been putting off learning about this thing, algorithms. I'd been putting it off every day because it's too hard. That's what I thought. And I knew that if I started studying it, I would be overwhelmed. And that was the fear. So I kept delaying. But as soon as I had an easy point of entry to get some advice from someone that's not going to turn me down, someone who's not going to look down on me, the author doesn't know me, obviously. That's what a book is. You just read it. I knew that I could start into it. And that flipped something in my brain. It opened up worlds of opportunity for me. Now in my resume, I can talk about algorithms. Now in interviews, I can talk about algorithms. Now in technical interviews, I can talk about algorithms and try to understand. Now in LeetCode or HackerRank, I can try to solve some algorithms. But before, it was just too hard. So the tip for you, what are you delaying? What are you putting off? That is something that you fear. You put it off because you're not sure if it's going to work, and there might be a huge amount of investment in your mind just to even try. So my tip for you is to make it easy, because you fear something. You fear that it's not going to work, but you don't know that for sure. So my tip is to make something super easy and to write a little task for yourself today to try to go. And the task could be as easy as, for me, it would be purchase a book on Amazon. Or I was in a bookstore. This randomly happened. I wasn't even in the mood for thinking about algorithms, and I saw this and I'm like, this is a way I could maybe see if it's too hard. It was low risk. Put down a task that you could do for you to really just dive into it. Here's the deal. Fear often comes across as stubbornness, pride, and delaying. And when we fear something, we're making it so big. We're really, really respecting that thing, even though it's probably not something you should be respecting in your life. So maybe you've done this. Maybe you have seen a course and didn't sign up for it because you know it won't work. It'll just be like all the other courses. Maybe that's true, but maybe that's because you're making it true because you never sign up and try. Maybe you saw a book. Like, here's another book I have, Cracking the Coding Interview, and you saw how thick it was and you thought, that's too much. I can't do it because it's just like all the other times. I won't be able to read the book. It's too hard. Maybe it won't be. And that's up to you to change how you think about it. But you have to take that step. Maybe you're not replying to an email, like an invitation to a community or a course. And I send some of these out. Maybe you're not responding to them because you think it's too high for an entry. I will tell you, I have had courses that I've sold for $1,000, mentorships, $3,000, $4,000. And then I'll send out an email. You get $9. You get this or that for $17. You get a lot of the same information that all those other higher paying people get. And people they say the same thing. It's too expensive. That's not the reason. The reason that they haven't moved forward, maybe you haven't moved forward with getting some advice through a book, through a community, through all of that, is because you think it'll just be like all the other times where I tried and it didn't work. And you got to realize something. You're the one who needs to grow. So you need to grow in your knowledge. That's why you need some of this stuff. But you also need to grow in your thinking and your ability to move forward and take action. And that is what the small little task, this was a small task for me. I could afford $17 or $16 or whatever. And it was small. I could start reading the first few pages. That got me addicted. That's what you need to do, is get addicted to this stuff. And then you can't put it down. And maybe you don't take advice. And here's the deal. I'll cap it off with this. The only way that you're going to make progress is if you learn to take action and take advice from others, whether in a book, in person, recorded course, something like that. So, or Zoom or something like that, or community. That's the only way you're going to change, and I'll prove it to you. Think about where you've gotten today. Think about anything you've accomplished that is good. And I can almost guarantee you that when I ask this next question, I know the answer. How did you get into the opportunity or situation you're in today? Which is a good thing. How did you get into a current good situation? And I bet the answer is you took advice or learned it from somewhere, which is put out by someone else. Another person had something going on and you modeled them, or you imitated, or you took direct advice from them, whether in any format. Now think of a bad situation you're in. It's possible you're also in any bad situation, not because you took advice, but because you didn't take advice from somebody else. Advice is simply wisdom. And that's how God made us, is to learn from other people. You need people around you. Do you have any? So all of this boils down to, if you delay something and put it off, it's because of fear that you think whatever you're putting off won't work for you. And the real answer is not to just keep putting it off, but actually start in and find out if it works. And you can only do that if you create a task and do the task today. Okay? You're going to save yourself a ton of time, and the opportunity cost of putting it off is in the tens of thousands of dollars. If you're delaying a new career because you're scared, it's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. In my life, it's been hundreds of thousands of dollars of change because I took a risk. It seemed like a risk, but it really wasn't. The risk was waiting. All right, I hope this helps you today. And if you made it to the end, it's miraculous. Thank you for watching the whole thing. Please do subscribe and like it and give a comment. Notice down below, downstairs, I was about to say, there is a link to get a video or a doc from me. Probably have a Google Doc over on Instagram for you. Leave a comment if you have any questions or thoughts, how it helped you, what you're going to do today to put that in a comment, and that might encourage others. Bye.